Hi, I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. Today we're going to talk about shortening your valley. So with the Bowtech and many bows you can adjust the size of the valley. Now one of my viewers said when I did the review on the Reckoning that I've got these stops set short, so I've got a very short valley. Now I tend to be shooting quite well with it like that, and there could be a whole bunch of reasons, but I thought, well, what we'll do is we'll shoot both ways on camera and we'll sort of see how it goes. Now, I'm going to say I get asked non-stop technical questions about archery, and I feel like I'm fobbing people off because people say, well, what should my tiller be? What should this be? And I'm like, it really doesn't make that much difference. What really makes a difference is your shooting. Now, if you're an elite shooter, try whatever you want to try and get a couple more points. But most people, and I'm going to say 99% of people, are not elite shooters. They're really beginners, and what they're doing is they're stuffing around with the gear to try and get perfect form, to try and get perfect scores, and it's really their form. It's them that is changing. So I'm not a big person with playing around with stuff. I'm more a person that blames myself, and yeah, and I focus on myself more than the equipment. So, and that's probably not the answer people are looking for, but it makes such a minor difference compared to the way you shoot. We had one person come in the shop this week and they're like, I can't shoot. The bow's doing all this stuff. So one of my staff grabs the bow and shoots these amazing groups with it. And my staff members are like, it's because your form's no good. And he's like, well, no, I haven't been taught. It's like for $60 you can come in and one of these amazing archers will teach you how to shoot. But you want to spend 2 hours stuffing around with your gear, that's perfectly fine. That is every day, literally all day in an archery shop. So let's just try this. So I'm shooting 40 pounds. These are 60-pound arrows. So when I say stuff isn't sort of set up correctly, look, it doesn't really make that much of a difference. Let's see how it goes. That's my first arrow of the day. Now normally you'd warm up to warm up your muscles and stuff, but I like sort of showing, now that shot didn't go off quick enough. And again, this is back on me shooting, not on the equipment. Now I've got a huge peep sight on this bow. Would that make a difference? Look, not really. Yes, it would, but it wouldn't. The amount of difference is minor. So it might be 1%, it might be 2%. It's would the peep sight being in the right position make a difference? Look, yeah, it would. It's a little bit low. But again, it gets back to the shooter. You've just got to shoot. Now, me coming out of surgery, and I seem to be harping on this, I can't shoot as much as I normally would. So I'm sort of down to, about 30 arrows a day. I don't expect amazing results. We're at 18 meters. And what I see all the time is people who shoot once a week, a few arrows, or once a month, expecting amazing results, and it's just unrealistic. Now with the shorter valley as opposed to a longer valley, you're less likely to creep forward or back, and that's why a lot of the top shooters will shoot well with a very small valley, because you're constantly pulling against that wall. Now with new Bowtech Reckoning, this is the old Reckoning, the 2023 version of the Reckoning. The bow's got draw stops that are flat to create a harder wall. This wall is amazingly hard. I don't even understand it. I mean, I think a lot of it's just gimmick to some people go, oh, I need that. I mean, PSE before had the round stops like this on their bows, and then you could buy from, I'm going to say titanium products, titanium archery products I think they're called, Bowma had a stop which you could fit on to create more of a hard wall. I couldn't pick it, and if you got those stops wrong at the wrong angle, then you could create problems. So I didn't see it. I didn't see the advantage. I know PSE obviously later released bows with that. I just didn't see it as being that much of an advantage. And what amazes me more than anything, I'm obviously out here shooting and I'm wobbling around all over the place. I'm short of breath, don't have the muscles, shooting one fletch, and the arrows still go in the middle, which I find amazing because it's like I cannot be releasing all those arrows in the middle spot because I'm wobbling around all the time. I think it's a knock. The peep sight's getting a little bit in the way of my vision, so I'm getting this like green blur in the scope. But let's go down and see where those arrows are, make the adjustment and see which way I prefer to shoot. Okay, I couldn't be happier with this group, and you're going to say, well, you could shoot better than that. Look, coming out of surgery, I've lost a lot of strength, and I sound like I'm making excuses. My breath, I had 4 big blood clots on my lungs. I'm down to 3. They've reduced, but they're still there. That sounds like excuses. That's really good shooting. I'm really happy with that. And I've shot really well with this Reckoning since I've shot it. I cannot stress enough, and I'm going to stress it again, about your shooting. You've got to shoot more. You've got to build your strength. I've been doing weights. You could do cardio. Anything to improve your shooting is really going to make a difference to your overall shooting ability and to your health. Eating a better diet, not eating sugars, not eating caffeine. All that stuff's going to make a difference, more so than the equipment. All right, let's go and grab this and let's make the adjustment. Why do you want a bigger valley? To make it easy on your aiming. So I'm running out of breath. I'm shooting okay. I'm shooting very, very well. But I may fatigue if I keep shooting with that shorter valley and putting pressure on myself. So I'm going to just move that stop forward a bit. Now, making this change, if I don't get the same results, then I'll go back the other way. So I've been shooting recurve lately and compound, and I've built back up to my old bow and 32 pounds, and it's been killing my chest. I've only moved that a smidge, like a little bit, and it's hurting my chest when I shoot, and it's a bit of a worry for me. So I went back to the Xena riser, which is nice and light. I've gone back to lighter limbs to see if it will hurt less and I can shoot more arrows. Like I'm getting stronger, my shoulders are getting stronger, the chest and back, I can actually start to feel the shots in the back now. So I'm going to say, if you're getting pain, like I'm doing other weights to try and strengthen it, you want to strengthen. That's the one I just shot. You want to strengthen, but you want to concentrate on yourself. I feel like I repeat that message a lot. And I don't know if it's because I own an archery shop, but the number of people who come into the shop, they've derailed their bow, they've dry fired the bow through poor technique and not learning properly. It's almost every day. And it's like, just spend some time, get the form technique right before you go to high poundages, before you break stuff, and you really want good results. So this is, I haven't adjusted the sight, I've just moved those modules back, so basically increased my draw length a little. Oh wow. Feels like a PSE now. And you're probably going to think that you're going to shoot better because it feels like your old bow. Not necessarily. It feels significantly easier on my body, and that was moving the draw stops that much. So I'm just getting more in the valley. But you may not shoot better like that. I mean, I was talking to some archers the other day, and on the Bowtech modules you can go from comfort to performance, and they said it's 10 feet per second difference, and they said they actually prefer the performance setting. Now some people will prefer the comfort setting because it comes over softer. They actually prefer the performance setting because it makes the valley shorter, they said, and makes them more consistent. Now I always ask, what's your scores? How does your score vary? And the answer is always, I don't know, because they haven't scored. And for me, that's always the thing. If I'm going to make changes to a setup, I will score, then make changes and see if it goes up or goes back in the difference. Right, so I'm going to talk about bigger valleys versus smaller valleys. The bigger valley is going to feel more comfortable for you, but what you're going to find probably that you're going to get kicked around in the wind a lot more. There's a bit of wind today, it's not too bad. But you're going to get kicked around in the wind. I can see I'm moving more on the target with the bigger valley, but it's much easier to hold. The bow weight, the physical mass weight of the bow is more pronounced with the bigger valley. So you could go up in poundage to have the same effect, if that makes sense, because now I'm actually holding less weight back here, so the bow's actually physically having more impact on me holding the bow up. Just feels so easy to shoot. Now I was talking to one of the archers in the shop, about his reckoning, and I said, because he used to shoot a Supra too, and I said it feels more rigid, it feels more solid, and he said, yeah, I agree, it feels more solid. And it's not that the Supra was flexy, it's not that. This bow just doesn't, you just don't feel any vibration. It's a, and when I say it's a difference, there's a difference. It's only minor, but it just feels more significant. I don't know if it's because it's slower or what, but it feels more substantial, and that might just be in my head. Now this is obviously shot 2 knocks off last end. This feels significantly easier to shoot. It's really putting no pressure on my chest at all. And I'd say with the shorter valley I was feeling a little bit of pressure on the chest, but not too bad. So I think when you shoot, you should feel a little bit of muscle fatigue when you shoot, because you're trying to build. Unless you're an elite archer, and then you don't want to feel anything, because you don't want to feel any of that muscle fatigue, because you should be at your peak. Where for me, I want to feel a little bit of fatigue so I can wind the bow up, so I'm getting stronger. One thing's interesting about making the valley longer is it's slightly increasing your draw length by that much. So you'd think it'd be faster because you've got a bigger draw length. Actually, what you'll often find is it's slower. And it wouldn't surprise me if all these arrows are slightly low on the target, even at 18 meters, just because it's getting off the string slower to start with, which makes no sense at all for me from a physics perspective, because that much sooner in the draw cycle, well, you're still there, you're still in that position. So I've gone back in bow weight with the recurve and limb weight with the recurve because it hurt my chest too much. With the Bowtech, the way I've got it set at the moment, I feel like I could increase the poundage because it's not really hurting me. Well, at the moment, this is the second end. So what I'll do is I'll actually shoot maybe 60 arrows and see if I get any pain across my chest. And this applies to normal archers. You should increase the number of arrows and see if you get any pain at all. Because you don't want to go up in strength and in weight of bow, weight of limbs, if you're getting pains. You want to go up slowly. Right, let's go and check where those arrows are. Okay, so like I'm getting my fingers around the whole lot of the arrows, and left and right is excellent. You can see the arrows have moved slightly to this side. Up and down I've got a little bit of variation. It's not too bad. I'm going to say it felt easier with a bigger valley to draw and to shoot. It just feels like nothing. It feels easy. However, it may be I shot better with the smaller valley. and I'm going to say it's that much, like it's virtually nothing. Now it may also be that I'm warming up now because this is my second end versus first end. But look, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with this group. I'm happy with the last group. Which one do I prefer? I don't know. And this is the problem when you make changes and when you go limb stocks, cable stops, and when you start playing around with stuff. It's like, well, which one do I prefer? Like, I shot fine before. This shot fine too. I mean, like, as one of my things, it's nice having alterations on a compound and be able to change your valleys and be able to change stuff. And it's really good for beginners because the way the bow is set now is ideal for a beginner because it's so much easier to be in the valley. However, I feel like for a more advanced shooter, a smaller valley is probably a good thing, which makes me think about the elite that I shoot, which has probably got a bigger valley, that maybe I should shorten that valley down a little bit. Now, when I say making changes to your equipment, the problem is when you think about this, you're forgetting about yourself and your shooting and all that sort of stuff and the time you should be shooting and thinking about your equipment. And I'm not sure there's gains in the equipment. There may be, but there's definitely gains in improving the number of arrows you shoot, your form, your technique, your muscles, your cardio. Unquestionable gains in that stuff. And on the equipment side, I always say, well, one may be easier and one you may get better results with, but it's people shoot really good scores with recurve bows who are really good. And most compound shooters can't shoot the scores of a good recurve archer. So, and they're letting go with their fingers as opposed to release. They don't have a peep sight. It's just like chalk and cheese to me. And they can still shoot amazingly well. So that's the Bowtech Reckoning. I'll probably leave it the way it is set now, and I'll probably wind it up a bit and get back into my shooting. And with that, I'll leave you to it, and thanks for watching. And remember, the more you shoot, the better you shoot. Thanks for watching. Bye.